Welcome to part 2 of the Ninja French Door Premier Air Fryer Oven. In this video, what we're doing is we'll take some noise test, external temperature test, check the evenness of the baking, and then quick EMI reading test. And we'll do some cooks on this oven, show you some of the accessories used during the cooks, and then give you my overall impressions of the oven at the end of the video. Okay, now Ninja also gives you a cookbook like this and quick start guide, which is pretty handy, I guess. And they give you the instruction manual. Like I said, it's pretty much self-explanatory, but there's a couple things I'd like to mention. Let's turn it on. First of all, they want you to wash all these pans and racks, and then to stick in the oven, do air roast for about 20 minutes. This will bake off any kind of oil or manufacturing oil that's on it and sanitize the unit for the first time use. Like it says, we went over the 10 functions of this, but I also want to explain a couple of things. The difference between whole roast and air roast is that the fan spins at a lower speed on whole roast because you don't want to crisp up too quickly when you're doing a big roast. And another thing that the manual is not too explicit on is the mode button. So let's say you're baking a casserole, okay? We'll lock it in place. And let's say you have cheese on top of the casserole. Well, you want to crisp up the cheese, after you're done baking it. Well, you can hit the mode button. This will unlock this. So now you can spin it to air fry, turn it on, and now it'll crisp the top. This way you don't have to shut off the unit and then, go through the whole motions. You could do it while it's cooking at the same time, which is a pretty handy feature. So right now, what I'm going to do the sanitation route. So air roast, temperature, they want 450 degrees. And then time, they want it for 20 minutes. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, you don't need no directions. Hit the start, and then 20 minutes later, we'll all be set, ready to be cooking. Now, in the meantime, while I have this unit, I also went to Walmart to pick up the baking pan. So they do have 12.2 inch by 9.5 inch by 2 inch baking pan that should fit into this oven perfectly. This is when I was talking about, a 13 by 9 cake pan that you have for your regular oven will not fit into this Ninja. So instead, I looked around. This turned out to be the best option, and I'll have you link for this one. It's a baking pan. It's stainless steel. And you get 2 of them. Just like in the fry rack, you get 2 of these things. I would consider it medium duty. It's not super heavy duty, but it's not thin either, so it's pretty good. And it also comes with a plastic lid. So when you're baking a cake, you don't have to put tin foil on top of the cake when you're through, or your casserole. You just use the included plastic cover here, and it just snaps on top. So they give you 2 of these too. Now, this size is 12.2 inches by 9.75 inches by 2 inches. So when you're looking at a 13 by 9 pan, that's about 117 square inches. This one here being a little bit shorter but a little bit wider comes out to about 119 square inches. So it's almost exactly the same. So whatever your recipe calls for, you don't have to adjust the time. Let me just show you real quickly. Okay, so we'll just open up the door, turn the light so you can see a little better here. Oops, get the light on. You can see it fits perfectly in. So it's actually the same width as the sheet pan that they give you, or the drip pan. So I knew it was going to fit. You got plenty of room for air circulation, front and back, so you still got, 2 or 3 inches. So just a couple of accessories I talked to you about. They finally came in, so I thought I'd show you what the accessories look like in this video. Okay, and another demonstration will probably be just a cake. Since this is a convection oven, you can't turn off the fan. You have to turn down the temperature by 25 degrees. So I went down to 325 degrees, and I decreased the cooking time by about 5 minutes from the box. So the box says 34 minutes. I cut it down to about 28 minutes, something like that. So it's done. It looks done. And yeah, it's done. And the toothpick test, yeah, it's done. You can tell by just the touching it, it's done. So I don't use convection oven for baking, but there it is. It cracked a little bit on the top. I kind of anticipated that because I'm making lemon cake, and I had to add in some lemon juice and lemon rinds in it, and that kind of, you probably should add a little more flour to compensate, but that's fine. And we'll be covering this with a nice glaze anyway. So if you want to learn how to make lemon cake, just take a look at my video on making a lemon cake from a yellow cake box. And it comes out excellent. You're really going to enjoy that. I'll let it cool down and then make my powdered sugar lemon glaze, and that'd be the highlight for the evening. The second thing that I want to pick up, because I noticed one thing, is that you see with this air crisper basket, once you put like chicken wings and stuff on it and you're air crisping it, it's almost impossible to clean it. So what Walmart has, crisper pan, and I'll show it here, and the crisper pan is 10 by 9 with food inside the basket, and then it'll keep chicken wings from touching the wire rack, so it'll be a lot easier to clean. And we'll demonstrate that out later on, but I just want to point that out. There's some accessories you want to probably get and purchase at the same time you buy the oven, because now you have it handy. This came in, and I just want to show you fry pan basket that I was talking about. It's non-stick. But what's good about this is that when you have a wired rack like this, and let's say you're making chicken or anything that's got skin and stuff on it, it's going to stick to this, and this is very hard to clean, I know from experience. And then it's going to start looking ugly pretty soon. So I was thinking, why not get one of these? This is meant for a different air fryer naturally, but it fits into it just perfectly. It keeps your food from touching this wire rack itself, but still allows airflow because you got all the holes cut out for it. Now, another way to do this is that if you don't want this basket, then use your sheet pan like this, your wire rack, then you set this on top. This way, like we did onion rings and French fries on this, and this works perfectly. You still get crispness of the air frying, and you don't have to use the wire rack. So this is one of the accessories I was talking about. And I'll show you a picture of the outcome of using this, making onion rings and fries. Okay, there's my air fry French fries. It's done. So this is at 390 for 8 minutes. Perfectly crispy. Let me just let it cool off a bit here. Now, just for experiment, I did not flip these over. I just let it cook to see how that swirling effect or that cyclonic effect works on crisping up the bottom. You can see this is the bottom of the fry. It did fairly good. There's the top, there's the bottom, so not bad, Actually, if you're using a basket, you're going to have to stir it up. But this is just me being lazy, and it worked out fine. So that cyclonic action does work in distributing the air across the top and up to the bottom. You notice I'm using this aftermarket rack here, which allows airflow to come up to the bottom. It's non-stick also. So one of those accessories that I think that Ninja should make for this particular oven. And let's see what kind of noise level. It's pretty quiet, come to think of it. Okay, we're right on top of it, and it's 65. So we're about 3 feet away, and it's under 60. So not too bad. Okay, now we got the EMF machine here. So it's running a little bit high, so you don't want to be, you don't want to have your kids the face right against this oven door watching things cook. And you're less than a foot away, and you can see it drops down to pretty low levels. When you're about 2 feet away, you can see it's almost nothing. It's about 200 on the sides, about 360. So on the sides it's less. So if you're worried about EMFs, especially with the kids, your toddlers, it's like a microwave oven. You don't want their face right against the door, but they can watch it from a distance, and it's perfectly fine. So, okay, so this thing is already heated. It's 450 degrees. Okay, so that's not too bad. Control panel the room is about 70 degrees. The door is 120 some odd degrees, which isn't bad. It's hot, but it's not going to scald you. Like, believe me, some of the cheaper units out there, you're going to burn yourself. 120, 130 degrees for the handle. So, it's pretty cool. I don't know why. Yeah. No, it can read the handle. So, glass panel, well, it's kind of hard to do, but it could be a little bit hotter. It's going to be about 150 to almost 200 degrees, the panel. This really top, well, that's not too bad. 68 degrees, which is about room temperature. Yeah, it's not bad at all. And the side, it's about the same, 72, 70 degrees. Door handle's naturally absolutely cool. And then this thing here. It's hot. It's not hot, you know, it's not going to scald you, see? But it is warm. Ooh, glass is pretty hot, so. So this quick instrument test on the unit. Since it's not that hot up here, you could store things on top of it. So that's pretty nice. After 20 minutes, you know, I'll do another hand check on it for you just to double check. But, you know, it's been running for about 15 minutes now, or 5 minutes, so. Okay, so it's been almost 20 minutes. And let's see. Yes, temperature hasn't changed, so it's pretty much insulated. Up here where you touch. Got a little bit warmer. Yeah, it's just warm to the touch. The top section is still the same, about 76, 77 degrees. Yeah, it's just warm. I mean, not bad at all. Okay, so that's done. So this is all ready to cook. We can cook salmon tonight, so. Okay, so we'll just take everything out. What I'm gonna do, I think another good test is a temperature test. What I have is I have some bread. We're gonna see if there's any hot spots in this unit here. Let's get this done more or less to the corners. Okay. What I'm going to do is change this to probably pizza. So we're going to get the top and bottom done. And we'll keep an eye on it, see what it looks like. We're going to see how evenly this is going to cook, where it's got cold hot spots in. Now, this is supposed to have that cyclonic 450 degree fan speed on it. So we're going to see how that works. Because a lot of these cheaper ovens, when you stick the pizza in it, the back is usually hotter and the back of the pizza starts to burn. But we'll see how evenly this thing cooks. Let's pause it. Let's open up what it looks like. Well, if you ask me, it looks pretty even. Maybe this side is a little bit lighter. Okay, now from the bottom side, you can see it's a little bit in the center, but the rest is pretty even around. This is the cool section is right front, but pretty even. Center is gonna be the hottest from the bottom, but from the top side, it looks pretty even, right? So I got good anticipation that your pizza is not going to come out really burnt on the bottom and undercooked in the front. It's fairly even. A little bit hotter towards the back, but compared to the front, but not too bad. So close enough, and it's been about 5 minutes. But this has been going on for almost an hour, so let me just shut this off. The temperature in the back wall is 95 degrees. On the upper cabinet, if you're worried about heat there, 90 degrees. Top of the oven, I think we did before, 92 degrees, so it's just warm. It's not hot, see? The side is pretty cool, almost room temperature. Okay, we're going to show you what it looks like to put a whole chicken inside the Ninja French door. We got this, you know, everybody knows what this is, a Costco chicken, right? They're usually big and pretty heavy and plumpy. So let's see what this thing weighs. 3 pounds, 15 ounces, so almost 4 pound chicken. And then we're going to have to heat this thing up. We bought this earlier in the day. So I'll just stick this into a regular baking pan here. So the Costco chicken is running about a little about 4 1/4, 4.5 inches tall. So let's take it over to the oven and see how it fits inside. Yep, that just fits. We still got about maybe an inch to spare from the top. So this is a 4 pound chicken. And that's what it's going to look like. We've done like the 7 pound chicken the other day, but we didn't use this oven. But that's a little above 5 inches tall, so it'll be touching the top. But here we got a good inch of clearance, and it's sitting on a rack too. I mean, if we want, we could pull it down all the way down into the drip pan. But I just want to show you what size chicken you get into this oven. You're not going to do a 12 pound turkey. The only way you can do a 12 pound turkey is to spatchlock it. But in this one here, we'll probably just do a quick air roast on it just to heat it up. And time probably 12 minutes. Now remember, the air roast, less fan, so it doesn't crisp up too much. So, and this is our dinner for the night, but I just want to show you what the whole chicken looked like inside this oven. Okay, so here's our salmon that we're going to do for today. We're going to use the air fryer. Put the salmon on a wire rack. I don't want to use the basket because, like it says, you don't want the fish to stick to the basket. Impossible to clean. Now, the Ninja, unfortunately, on these models here, they don't have the temperature probe. On some of the other ovens, they got the temperature probe, which is nice. But nowadays, you don't need that. They got wireless temperature probes. But I got my trusty old Maverick here, so that's what we'll be using to monitor this. This is the first time I'm using this air fryer, so I don't know exactly when to pull it. Normally on a regular air fryer it takes about 8 minutes, but it's a little bit different. So I'm going to monitor it and keep time on how long it's going to take. So I want it to reach 125. That's pretty much when you shut this thing down. So we'll put it on air fry, because I'll crisp up the top. And let's see, should we keep it at 390? Yeah, we'll keep it at 390. What the heck? We'll see how long it takes too. Okay, the salmon is done, so let's pull it out. So this is air fryer. It took about 12 minutes. Okay, so the salmon took 12 minutes, so let's just pull it out. You can see it's nice and juicy. I wiped down the rack with a little bit of olive oil, so it's cleaned up a little bit easier. And that's our salmon. Let's just take a look at it. Yep, cooked. Now, salmon, you cook salmon to 125 degrees or thereabouts. Other types of fish, you gotta cook it to about 140, 145. But salmon, you cook it at lower temperature. And it came out good. And salmon, wintertime, it's really oily, so even the thinner parts is nice and juicy. You can see the juice. So that's our dinner for tonight. Our main protein will be salmon. So it took, 12 minutes, I said, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't need a probe anymore. Once you get the feeling for it, you're going to be looking at it about 10 minutes, I say, and then go to 12. This thing is pretty thick. It's about 1.5 inch thick, so. Okay, this is our first casserole. We had some rigatoni noodles, which is relatively new to us. People didn't like it, so I says, why not just throw a casserole? I was waiting for my pan, but did not come out. Remember, I told you I was going to order that casserole pan, or the baking pan, which is 12 by 10, but didn't show up, so I used my regular 9 by 9. So this is what it looks like. It just got done. What I did was that, I cooked the noodles and sauce separately, assembled it, put it in the pan, then used the air fryer for about 7 minutes, and that's what it looks like. So you can see the air fryer did a real good job. Now, we got a regular store-bought pizza. It comes up to about 11 inches. So what we'll do is we'll just switch this over to pizza mode. Let me shut the door here. Mode. Let's go down to pizza. I think it's, let's say 425. Time, let's say 13 minutes. It's preheating, but it's pretty hot already in there, so. Okay, so let's just get the pizza in there. We just got through cooking our casserole, so I know this thing is pretty much preheated. It's got plenty of room. You can see there's a groove cut out in the back. So this is 11-inch pizza, so it'll probably take almost a 13-inch pizza. So, and what's nice about this is that the last minute, the lights will come on the inside, so you can see if you need to add time or not. So we'll check back when the pizza's done. Okay, pizza's done. It got done a little bit earlier because the pizza was somewhat defrosted before we stuck it in here. But look at that. See how it's evenly cooked? It's not burnt in the back. So this fan blade is designed so that it doesn't force all the air down. It's got little lips on it, like wings on it, that makes it into a cyclone type of fan. So that's why we got even cooking from back to front. And we're getting ready for our pizza. So no problem. So I got Done a little quicker than anticipated. That looks pretty good for some pizza, no? So, is our first cookout with this with casserole and the pizza. And you're gonna hear the oven ramp up. That's the cooling fans cooling itself down, so. Noisy dog in the background. Right, Eddie? So we want to give this oven a little workout today. Well, nice stretchy cheese, huh? And let's just take one of these, this piece here, underneath. And the crust is done. Which is nice. I mean, sometimes on these frozen pizzas, the bottom of the crust doesn't get crispy enough. But here, you're on a lower rack, so it's going to crisp up. So, bon appetit. Okay, we had the meatloaf in here. It's pretty much done. We got cheese on top, so naturally with the convection oven, it cooked a little faster than I thought it was. First time making the meatloaf in here. Next time what I'll do is that I'll add the top layer of cheese, maybe the last 5-10 minutes. Let me show you something else too. And you see those little blades that hang down from the fan? Most convection oven, the blades are just flat like a fan. But this one here has got the little scoops at the end of it. And that's what causes the turbo or the cyclone action. And that's why when it's air frying, it's circling the air all around and underneath. Unlike a convection oven, which just goes straight up and down. Just want to point that out. Well, we're still relatively new with this Ninja French door Premier. But I want to point out a couple of things that I've noticed on my research and actually using this. Look at this door. Like I mentioned before, look how thick this door is. It's heavy duty. You can bounce it up and down. It doesn't flex. And the gaps when you close it are pretty tight. Now let's look at these accessories. You notice how nice and heavy gauge all these parts are. Nothing chintzy here. Now the wire rack is pretty thick. And once it goes into the slotted grooves on the side, it stays in place. I've seen other units that's less expensive where it's kind of flimsy. And you put something heavy on it and it actually falls down. Now let's take a look at the interior a bit. You can see that the burning elements on the bottom, it's got a heat shield on them, which is pretty nice. A lot of the less expensive ones don't have a heat shield. This heat shield is good to keep the splatter down, so smoking down as the grease drips on it. And it's just a little safety device. Now let's take a look at the interior. You know, when you clean this thing out, you can see that it's pretty streamlined. There's no excessive hidden grooves to worry about. Just take a damn towel and just wipe it down when you're through. That little cutout in the back is for your pizza. It does handle a 12-inch pizza. The build quality is pretty good. And, you know, Ninja took the time bringing out a French door oven, and they've learned from other people what to include and what to not include in the design. So, we've done air roast. We did bake. And we did the air fry. Did a pizza. All of it came out a lot better than I anticipated, especially the air fry. You know, the earlier air fry ovens were just fan-forced convection ovens. This one here has that cyclone action, and it actually air fried the fries and the onion rings that we had just as good as a dedicated air fryer. Now, a couple of things that I wish that they would add, possibly for the second generation. One is ding notification to turn your food item over or shake it up when using the air fryer. That's helpful on the other Ninja appliances, and I wish they included on this one. I wish that we had an option of turning off that fan. The fan itself is great, but there are times where you don't need a convection fan on. You don't want the browning at the top of your casserole or your baking goods. So it'd be nice if we could turn on and off the fan. It'd be nice if they offer a probe. They have it on the other appliances. Wireless probe would be just fine, but include it in the next generation. And finally, offer some accessories for this Ninja air fryer oven. Interior size is a little bit more unique, so it'd be nice if Ninja had accessories already out there for this product instead of having to look at aftermarket sources. Overall, this oven air fryer, for the type of usage that we use it for, is excellent. You're not heating up a large oven or bringing out multiple appliances to do your cooks. So I hope you liked the video. Please click the like button. When you have a chance, please subscribe. And thank you for watching. And we'll be uploading more videos as we play around this Ninja oven more and more. Thank you for watching.